Welcome back to Underway Drifting and Dreaming. I am Jennifer. My husband Jim and I are in Kemah, Texas. We have traveled over 5,000 miles on the America's Great Loop, and we are overwintering. We decided to do a quick cleaning of the anchor locker and to paint. This quick job, right? 2 months later, we completed what we thought was a weak job. So much was discovered during this maintenance period. Last time we paid out the anchor onto the dock was August of 2023 after purchasing the boat. Jim easily cleaned up the anchor locker and drained the mud out of the bilge. Fast forward to 2025, the anchor bilge stopped draining and it was wet. Let's jump in with the anchor maintenance and watch Jim crawl in and out of the anchor locker. Just a couple feet though. Jim marked the anchor chain with this orange tape since it is on the main dock. This is 300 feet of chain. This is our primary anchor. You can see all the chain here. You can see my shadow. Alright, I see a hose coming out of the mechanical room. I'm going to step across. Oh, my husband is underneath the bed, spraying in the bilge. Oh, I'll go up. You can see the anchor locker. It's right above the headboard of our bed. And so he was inside the anchor locker cleaning things up. He has the hose running across my bed. There's some things you just gotta let it be. At least standing on the pillows. Lovely.
Anchor locker drains into this box. And that's normally open, and it was open, but it was so full of mud the water wasn't draining out. So there's the bottom of the anchor locker. Bunch of mud. We don't like that, so we're going to remedy that by reducing the amount of water going into the rain locker.
Bilge pump's keeping up with the water. And there's a little access port here. So you can see Jim's light down there. Go ahead and manually turn on the bilge here up forward. My bed is gone. All right, Jim, what are you up to?
Anchor locker cleaning time.
You gonna crawl in there?
I'm gonna skedaddle under there. I've got a bucket to stand on.
Just take a peek in here. Oh, I need your headlight.
So this is all original, never been painted again. So a lot of peeling paint that I'm gonna clean up, scrape, lightly sand all the way around. Finished cleaning the bottom. We're going to fix the reason the water from the pulpit, all the rainwater and washdown water just comes right out of these little spigots right down into the anchor locker, so it's constantly wet. We just kind of discovered that, so I'm going to clean those up and adapt a hose to them, and I'm thinking we're just going to run it overboard, do a through-hole fitting. That way all the water, dirt, mud from the anchor chain, when it's on deck, comes through here, so it'll go overboard.
Or during a rainfall,
or during rain, yeah. So there's always moisture in here, which we don't. It's bad enough just bringing a wet chain in here, but just a wet chain that's been washed off should dry. This side is where the rope road is, and that should always be dry. Well, it's always wet, so moldy. It's just not good for the chain or the road. So we're gonna clean this up. So a little bit of water will come in with the chain. Will drain down like it should and through, but we're putting a whole lot of water in there when we're washing down. So I may just plug those temporarily because it's easy enough to wash out where the pulpit is. So we'll get it all cleaned up and looking new.
How to deploy into the anchor locker. You've done this before, haven't you?
I'm stuck. How do I get my other foot down?
I can call the fire department. Just dial 9, a 1, and a 1. Woohoo!
Alright.
Enjoy, I'm gonna go make breakfast.
Make cookies?
I'm not making cookies. You hide cookies.
Alright, I think I'm good.
It's been busy up here on the bow. The windlass is coming off, and now the pulpit. So I will be using the drill. I gotta climb up there. Come on, one more. It just something waiting to fail, huh?
I'll epoxy this, and we'll put that up into there and seal it, and then I'll fiberglass the.
All right, it has been scraped. Going back in to sand a little bit more.
And feathered down those edges here. This is where the water would come in.
And run down the side.
This way down. It's actually a very good piece of wood. It did not absorb any water, so it's good. There was a piece of plywood, a 1/4-inch piece of plywood. You can even see it was nailed to it. That was saturated. Engine room was kind of the same, but the new paint sealed it up.
Where's Jimmy? There he is.
Oh, Daddy.
Painting away.
I'll work it.
Jim, what are you doing in the anchor locker again?
Another day in the locker. So, we've got 2 layers now of Cusa board in here. I epoxied this in the other day, so we've got 1 inch of Cusa board. So that now comes to the original level of the interior fiberglass. So it's solid. I've got thickened epoxy all the way around, and it's solid. I had screws in there to really pull it in tight. So, and it joins with our dividing wall. So now we have this gap here that goes forward, and that's what the original plywood, a 1/2-inch piece of plywood, went from here all the way forward. So this is the upper deck, and then here's the inside skin. So what we're going to do now is I've got the 1 piece of Cusa board from the outside. It's going to slide in here, and then it'll lock into this. So we'll fill this one void up with thickened epoxy on both sides. We'll wet this out. We'll drive that other piece of Cusa board in to match up with this. And that should join, like I say, our interior 1 inch to the 1/2 inch that's going all the way forward. And then once this is all dry, we'll regrind this, and then I'll bring in probably 2 layers of fiberglass matting, or 17, I think it's 1708. It's a biaxial fiberglass. And we'll rejoin all this in, so it'll be sealed, prime it, paint it. Should be done. 2 days.
2 days.
All right, so we are getting ready to put our patch in where our CUSA board is up there. Now this is all solid. Fit really well. I'm real happy with that. So I'm going to prime this. I've scratched it up with a 80 grit sander. Went through, got all the edges all cleaned up, ready to go. Took off any little bumps and stuff. So I'll prime that with primer. This is going to be our first piece that goes in. So I'm going to saturate it on this little table with plastic on it. So I'm going to saturate this one. I'm going to get this wet and see how well. It should move pretty easy, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do 2 at a time. This will be all saturated. I'll put this one on it. I'll match it up, and then I'll saturate this really well. While that's sitting, then I'll actually prime that, recheck that, make sure it's good to go. And then the idea is to be able to peel this off the plastic. It should still retain its shape. Come in like this. Start on one edge, and then work it.
Oh, I understand. All right.
Work it in there, and then I'll roll it on here. And if it's thick enough, will be good to put our cover piece, which will go on top. So I'll wet this out, take it up in there. I'll probably actually just wet the bottom a little bit more around the edges. And then this will cover that will cover everything. And then I've got these tab strips here, more 1708, that'll go around the edges to really
on, and he's doing little patches, little triangles to bring it up to the uniformity thickness.
Yeah, I didn't take into account where they tabbed this in. It's thicker, and so you don't want a gap. You can see it's smooth all the way around. There's 3 layers. We put 3 layers in, and then I'm building that up so the final piece won't have a gap there. All right, so another triangle.
All right,
a big one.
Just putting up the largest piece.
So we pre-soaked it. Let this dry, and then
always come back and
come
put
back,
extra.
and then I won't have to do anything except for apply those other strips. I may just do that.
All right, Jim is putting the peel ply up there.
Yes, peel ply. It's the first time I've ever used it. I'm really impressed with it because it goes on like the last piece of fiberglass. But it's a great way to get more resin, but then you get all the bubbles out of the resin too.
Do you need to use the flat side of that or the rollers working?
This works perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then you leave some overlap because you pull that off when
Yeah,
it's
so you
cured.
have to overlap to be able to pull it.
What are you up to?
All right, day 42. The peel ply. Let's pull it apart and see how the finished work goes. That's why you leave a little extra to be able to grab a hold of it.
Oh, look how smooth.
So it's a one-time use only stuff. Smooth as a baby's bottom. So there'll be a little bit. I'll probably just use a hand sand. And I think that's gonna do it. I don't think I'm gonna put the tabbing on it. All right, we'll get this cleaned up, painted, and then I'll touch up. There had some epoxy drip down, right? The tape would come off. And then my little catch tray there, I'll touch up the paint that had peeled off, and so it'll make 2 or 3 coats there. And hopefully, knock on fiberglass and wood, the anchor locker will be pretty much completed with all the dirty work. I'll have to put the wires back in for the windlass, mount those, and I think we'll be good.
All right, it's all nice and pretty white. All done. I see a finger. What's that? So that's the thickness of the hole. Next time,
the 2 holes just drilled through the hull. We drilled below. There's some coring material above the water line, but below where we just drilled. So the resin is going in where the hole is because now the fiberglass is exposed. And so by putting resin in there, epoxy resin, it will seal up. So if for any reason water comes in through the hole, the through hole fitting, it won't absorb into the fiberglass. All right, so I drilled the holes 1 3/8 all the way through, and I put tape on the other side so this epoxy doesn't drip down on the hull. All right, so that's all sealed up. That'll prevent any water, if it comes through the gasketed through hole, from getting into and penetrating the fiberglass.
so I'm getting ready to put these through the new through hole fittings. And then, so I'll be threading them through, and then Jim will be putting the backing plate on them. Here she is.
All right, so here's our drain. Here's our drain ports, the copper pipe that comes through. Before it was just draining right into the bilge. So I've got this hose. We've got the through hole fitting now drilled through, fitted on here. So temporarily I've got 7 feet of hose. You'd think it's not that long, but it is. So I will attach it here, but the chain is going to be coming through about this area. So I need to figure out how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to leave it long until we got the chain on there. More like this, and attached to the back wall.
So it's just a hose clamp?
Yeah, it's just a hose clamp, stainless steel hose clamp.
Look at that! It works! I'm gonna get wet out here.
Look how much water is going in the anchor. That's just a little bit of hose clamp. So that completes the video of our anchor maintenance episode. So we found a lot with the anchor. It had a lot of moisture in the anchor locker. We thought it was kind of normal, and so by removing the anchor and cleaning it out, we did discover that the two drains, it was a factory design, which I was kind of surprised, just drained completely right into the anchors. So every time it rains, every time we wash down the anchor, wash the mud, it was just going into the anchor locker, causing a lot of moisture. So now we've cured that by putting hoses on those drains, and we ran them overboard to overboard through-hole discharges. So now we should have almost zero water in the anchor locker, except for when we bring the chain up, we wash it off. The moisture on the chain will go in there. That should dry out, and hopefully we won't have any more issues with moisture in the anchor locker. Appreciate it, and hopefully see you all next time. Thanks for watching.